وعم رمم غرفة بيت وكيل في متحف في برلين. And I live near Dresden, but currently I work in the Aleppo room in Berlin, in the Museum of Islamic Art, which is really a true pleasure and honor for me, because it's a very special object, and finally I'm able to help it to bring it back to life by doing conservation on it. And 30 years ago I began studying conservation in Dresden at the Academy of Fine Arts, and I am trained as a conservator for painted wooden surfaces. And then, like 25 years ago, I began working on Syrian wooden interiors, like painted wood panels from houses in Damascus and in Aleppo. It happened actually 22 years ago that a museum called me in Dresden. They had a bunch of panels from Syria in storage. It was 110 panels, painted panels from Damascus, said to be from Damascus, but it was dusty, moldy, grey. You couldn't see any color, no gold leaf. It was really in bad condition. And I was just graduated from university, and they asked me whether I could help to tell them what they should do with it. So I did like an examination and tried to find out how, which damages it had and how to treat it to keep it alive for longer time. And then I found out that it's made in the Ajami technique, which is famous for wooden interiors in Syria. And I did chemical analysis to find the materials that the old artists used 200 years ago. And then we tried to figure out how these panels have to be mounted together, how to reconstruct this room. And then we decided to go to Damascus to check whether our ideas could be correct. So, and then we visited about 35 houses in the old city and could see these rooms, how they are installed in the original houses. I fell in love with the city, with all these friendly people. I love these houses very much. And since this moment, every travel I went there again for another 15 years. I went back and forth. I felt at home walking through the streets, and I feel very blessed that so many people opened their houses for me to let me see their, precious interiors. I became a little bit famous for my passion, for my crazy passion for these Ajami panels. But to me they spoke in a way. I always, had a connection with the soul of the old masters and with these rooms, and I love the atmosphere. I love the hospitality that these rooms still, send out in a way. And then I found out that a lot of the knowledge about the old techniques was forgotten by time. And then I began researching about the historic painting techniques, and couldn't stop it. So it became my PhD thesis, or my PhD research topic. And then people always asked me whether I could provide the knowledge that I collected via 10 years in a way to make it available to the people, and then I decided to make a book about it. The name of the book is Damascene Ajami Rooms, Jewels of Interior Design, and it was published in 2013 by Archetype Publications in London. The painted wooden panels are 400 years old now, so which is quite a long time for such an object. And it's made by the original artisans in a way that it can survive a lot of time, because they used cedar wood, which doesn't move much, when the climate changes. But still, after so many years, the wood always moves by time, and the connection between the paint layer and the wood just gets weak by time. So, and that's why such objects need consolidation after certain periods of time to fix it with some glue, that the paint layer, is stable again on the wood itself, so that it's not going to be lost. And if you look carefully at the details, you will see that a lot of paint layers are lost already. A lot of yellow and green painted details are lost because they used like a water-soluble color. So whenever they cleaned the room, or when it was too humid in the room, it became weak and fell down already. We found out that about like 25% of all these painted flowers are loose already, so we had to find a way to fix it. And it's very important to find a method that does not cause damages later. And we used a glue that we prepared ourselves from the bladder of a fish, of the sturgeon. We cook it ourselves, and it's sticky like gelatine, but it's better quality. And this is the glue we used, and it will not get dark by time, it will stay light. And the first consolidation we did 15 years ago now, and we can still see that it's stable. So the procedure was successful, if you wish. And this spring, finally, I began working on the painted surface itself, because the whole room is covered with a resin, with a varnish. It's like a protection layer, and this layer gets old by itself. It ages and becomes brittle and stiff and brown, so the colors get dark, and the entire surface is glossy, which was not supposed to be like this. The original intention was to have like a contrast between matte and a glossy surface, like glossy or shiny gold leaf and matte blue paint that is made from lapis lazuli, for example. It's very, very expensive. It's ground precious stone that they used as a blue pigment in this room. So you can see that the owner must have been extremely wealthy to pay alone for the material. And if you then look at all these fine details, he must have paid a fortune to commission this room. And after this cleaning process, when the colors get more brilliant again, there are a lot of tiny losses in these painted details. So I have a very tiny brush, like very, very tiny, with few hairs only, and fill in all these tiny losses so that all the shapes are, let's say, clear again, that lines are not broken any longer, that you can see the faces of the people again, that you can understand which flowers are painted. Or we need to make sure that all the additions that I do now are removable from later conservators' generations, because the most important thing is to keep the original alive. For me, it's very special to work here in the Aleppo room right now, because I never took the opportunity to travel to Aleppo during all the time I worked in Syria, because I worked in Damascus and I always thought I would have plenty of time to go there. But now I just go to the Aleppo room.